Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and welcome to my May 2025 front garden tour. Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you're joining me here today. I have a home garden in a suburb area north of Dallas in North Texas, and I am on the border of Zone 8A and Zone 8B, and here is my May front garden. I'm so happy to share it with you all because I have so many blooms going on, more to come even, and I just cannot wait to see how the rest of this growing season progresses because I just absolutely love how it's looking so far. So let me show you. All right, so I'm going to start right here where you guys can pretty much see everything in one big picture. Here is my front garden, and it's just looking so awesome, so colorful, and I'm going to start just right around here. So I always have my lovely little goose. I named her Silly Goose, and she stands at the corner of the garden, and I just love her. These containers are amazing, but I'm not going to talk about them too much other than, wow, look at that color. But I have a separate container garden tour. I have so many containers all over my front gardens and my backyard gardens that I decided to just separate my garden tours from my container garden tours. So I'm going to talk about those. Stay tuned for info on those. But here is the garden. So I'm going to start right over here where I guess you could see I have a whole hedge of sunshine ligustrum, and the sun kind of just came out from behind the clouds, and it is absolutely glorious. I feel like it glows in the sun. It's just, I have said this so many times, I think that sunshine ligustrum is one of the most amazing shrubs ever. So I have that as, the foundation plant. And then right down here, I just love this so much. It's my welcome sign. This is right by the stairs leading up to my home. And so I love that this area is kind of lower. And what I have down here is actually it's Superbena sparkling amethyst, and this actually overwintered for me. I had one Superbena plant, and I planted it right here underneath this welcome sign last year, and it just took off kind of like a ground cover, honestly. It actually stayed kind of green through the winter. Some of it got a little bit brown, but a lot of it stayed green. And then the first thing to flower in this garden was the Superbena sparkling amethyst. Let me also tell you that I got many kinds of verbena last year. I grew many different types, including many different types of Superbenas, and the Superbena sparkling amethyst is the winner of them all. Hands down, it's amazing. But while I'm talking to you, look at this guy. He's just been checking me out this whole garden tour. Hi. A little green anole. I think this is the same one I saw a couple hours ago. He caught a couple of bugs. One of them was a dragonfly, but that's what he's doing right there. He's hunting insects and taking care of the garden for me. So thank you, bud. You look so cute. How sweet is that? But intermixed in the Superbena sparkling amethyst, I have these petunias. They are so vibrant and gorgeous. I just absolutely love them. It's just, is it one or two of them that I have planted in there? I don't know. I got them at Callaway's. They were $1.99. I really loved them because the color is super vibrant. I like vibrant colors, but also they look like the new Supertunia that has come out from Proven Winners this year. Tiara Pink, I think is what it is actually. And it's, these were only $1.99 each. So I think there are two planted in there, and obviously that's what those are too. And there's two of those in the container. Seems like they're doing better in the container than they are in the landscape, but they still look absolutely beautiful with the Superbena sparkling amethyst. So moving along here in the garden, I also have May Night Salvia. And unfortunately, I think the peak of its bloom was somewhere in between my April garden tour and my May garden tour, because all of this is kind of coming out of bloom. Here's another one that is still kind of in bloom there. I am getting ready to prune this guy back pretty hard. For May night salvia, after it gets done with its first initial spring bloom, it will continue to rebloom. And actually, if you look, I may have waited a little bit too long to prune this back, because here is a bud. It will continue to bloom even if you don't prune it back. But if you do prune it back, you'll get a much better second bloom than if you didn't. Another thing, if you're looking really closely, I'm just gonna show you, like, full disclosure, this guy is being eaten, I think. And I think the only thing that I see around here is whitefly. The sunshine ligustrum is a whitefly attractant, and I noticed whiteflies at the end of last season. I did not take care of it. The way that I view pests in my garden, I try to develop like the integrated pest management approach, if you're familiar with that. Basically, if they're not harming anything, then I'll keep them there. And I didn't think the whitefly were going to harm anything on the sunshine ligustrum, but I didn't think about the fact that they'd probably go into my May night salvia and cause this kind of leaf stuff. But to be honest, the plant is still good. The plant is still growing new growth, and the plant is still blooming. And so anyway, I'm going to prune this back, and I may go ahead and I don't know if I'm going to spray it or not. Like I said, I only spray if I think I'm going to lose the plant. If I think it's something that's going to make me lose the plant or make me lose the blooms, then I will take an approach to try and get rid of them. Otherwise, I'm just like, okay, the leaves may not look as spectacular as they should, but at least I know my garden is part of the ecosystem, right? Oh, I think the lizard may have spotted something. Did you get something? He sees something. What you see? I just love watching this. This is so fun. Anyway, I'm moving on. I do have one little plant here that I have no idea if it's going to make it. This is lobelia, a really nice, vibrant lobelia. And I've never had like super great success with lobelia. The reason that it's planted there is because I had an extra one, because I popped one right there, and it's doing actually really, really good. Although, you know, there's the old blooms, and it's just reblooming on top of the old blooms, so that's kind of cool. I had an extra one, so I went ahead and popped it there, and it just doesn't look like it's doing really, really great. Here is a pistache tree or an ash tree, something like that, trying to grow, so we'll take that out. And then let's come back around. I guess the next thing I'll talk about is my container that's sitting in the middle of the garden. This container has my Limelight Hydrangea standard on it, and it is looking amazing. It has a really, really great round top growth to it this year, which I love. And you know, it doesn't have blooms yet, but I don't think it's supposed to have blooms yet. They are a little later potentially, because I don't even see any signs of buds at all. But they will bloom in June or July, and I think they're a little bit behind this year. But that is going to be spectacular when that is in bloom. And then underneath that, because it is contained in my garden, I will talk about this container. I just planted it up with some dichondra right there, some Cora white vinca, that is a Cora pink vinca, and then I have a Scaevola, I think it's called blue, it's called sapphire or something like that, and then I have a dark pink vinca over there as well. So I have 2 Scaevola, I have 2 dichondra, and I think I have 4 vinca in there. I think they're going to do really, really well as a full sun container there. And then let me show you these beauties. I'm so excited about this. Look at this bee. Oh my goodness. He's just having a good old little feast. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at me for filming him and being so close, but I just love that. So these, all of these zinnias are a mix of some dwarf varieties of zinnia that I wanted to try as the border this year. And so I grew all of these from seed. I used a little bit of a late winter sowing method to winter sow these seeds, a little bit in late winter, but still a few weeks before my last frost. And they came out beautifully. I want to kind of let you guys know that these are actually all planted in terracotta pots, 6-inch terracotta pots. Each terracotta pot, one plant per pot, and each one is planted into the ground. And this is a new experiment that I'm doing this year, because the last couple of years, this is where I plant all of my annuals. And for whatever reason, there are certain spots around here where the annuals die every single time. No matter what the annual is, it dies. And I've replaced it with other things in the past. But I tried for my pansies that I did last fall of 2024, 3 of my pansies died. And so I happen to have 3 that were left over from that flat. I planted them in terracotta pots and planted them into the soil over there where I was losing them. And lo and behold, they stayed alive and they lasted the whole season. And they actually had much stronger root systems than the other plants that were planted into the actual dirt or the actual soil. So I'm going to do this with my annuals this year, my zinnias, and see how that goes. I think it's going to be good. And then I've grown different varieties. So this one, for instance, is Zahara mix. This one, I'm pretty sure, is a pinwheel mix. I want to see, okay, Mr. B, you're mad at me. I know. I'm trying to get in here. He's so mad. He's like, leave me alone. This one, I'm almost certain, is a Zahara. Hold on. No, it's a pinwheel. It's bigger than the pinwheels over there. So that's why I thought it might be a different variety, but that is not the case. So that's super fun. There's a pink one in there with it. I think there was a seedling that was in there in the pot with it. So there's a pink one there. So pretty. These are beautiful. These are the Eden Brothers, and they are the Profusion Double Hot Cherry variety. And I was so excited for these. I've seen them grown by a lot of other people with success. They are absolutely beautiful, the Double Hot Cherry mix. And again, I want to say this is a pinwheel. Nope, this is Zahara. That is a missing label. I forget. Probably it could be, actually, no. It's not the Double Hot Cherry, so it's probably a pinwheel. This one is a pinwheel. These, I'll bet, are Zaharas. Yep, there's Zahara. So I'm starting to see the difference between them now. That's a hot cherry, a Profusion Double Hot Cherry. This one was a Zahara, like a beautiful white one. I love this one. Another hot cherry. So anyway, you guys get the idea, but they are blooming and they are absolutely beautiful right now. And I just absolutely love that I've put this border of dwarf zinnias. I think they're looking absolutely beautiful. So coming back over, not to skip things, I have another Maynight Salvia down here. It's getting ready to push out some more blooms. And then right here is my Sweet William that's actually reblooming. If you guys were following my channel last year, I had a different Sweet William plant that was planted there. And it was grown from seed, botanical interest. And it was just the most unbelievable Sweet William I've ever seen. It was so beautiful. I'll pop a picture on the screen. That one died. They are biennial plants. So after its second season, it very well could just die, and that's the normal life cycle of the plant. So I saw these Sweet William in the stores in the fall. I replaced it with just the normal Sweet William, the tall Sweet William that was in the store. And they are lovely. Don't get me wrong. It's already bloomed once actually, and now it's getting ready to rebloom. So I'm happy to see that. But The blooms are smaller, they're not as tall, they're not as spectacular and wide and big bloom heads like the other Sweet William that I had. But I am growing more of that same exact seed, so next year hopefully I will have like the original, the OG Sweet William that I love so much. But these are beautiful and I'm glad they're reblooming. The other one that I grew did not rebloom. It was like one spectacular bloom and done, whereas this one is reblooming. So I do like that. Peeking its little head through, which is kind of really cool, is this is hot lips salvia. I think that's what it is. I didn't even think this guy survived over the summer. He disappeared on me in the late season, and I thought it had gone away, but it popped back up again. I had another one of those on the other side over there, but it did not return. But I'm happy to see that guy, and he's intermixing with the Sweet William, and I think that looks lovely. And then right behind it, right here, is Rudbeckia. That's so close. It's so close to flowering. I even thought about postponing my May garden tour because once that starts blooming, it's going to be spectacular. But it just is what it is. Like, my zinnias are looking amazing right now, but my Rudbeckia is not. You know, things are in bloom and out of bloom, and if you plan your garden correctly, that's exactly what you want. You want things to be in bloom kind of at different times, so there's always something beautiful to look at, right? So speaking of in bloom or not in bloom, my daylilies are not in bloom at the moment. This is yesterday's. So I had 2 yesterday. I don't have any today. I'm so bummed because all of those are about to be blooming. I would love to show you, but I have a beautiful picture that I'll pop it up on the screen of what these lilies look like. They are unbelievable, but they just aren't currently like in flower today. Tomorrow they will be. I promise. That's going to open tomorrow. But in the meantime, I love this daylily. It's absolutely beautiful. And I think next year I will definitely spread that. It could be divided in multiple different plants, and so I'm going to do that next year. And then I have another May Night Salvia there. It is definitely out of bloom. I need to cut this back. Behind this, you can see the Hot Lips Salvia a little bit better. I have a Cosmos apricota right here that I grew from seed. Absolutely wonderful plant. This was my first grown from seed plant to bloom, and it's doing really well. And then it's mixing with that Superbena sparkling amethyst there, so looking good. I have a Gomphrena here. This is also grown from seed. It's just not flowering yet. I have a Queen Lime Zinnia, again not flowering yet. Here is another Rudbeckia, again so close to blooming, just not there yet. Some of these leaves are my old daffodil leaves that I'm leaving up because they're absorbing the sunshine. But then what you see down there is a Gomphrena QIS Fiery Sunrise. And again, grown from seed. I got this from Botanical Interests. And it's just not... It advertises to be like a 24-inch tall Gomphrena like the rest of them. This is Gomphrena globosa, and it's 1/3 of the size of my other Gomphrena. So that's a little bit disappointing. I thought when I planted this, I didn't think it was going to be super tiny, or else I would have planted it somewhere else. But lo and behold, it just is what it is, and we'll see. We'll see. Everything else is kind of towering over it right now. I have another daylily here that is not in bloom yet. It is a red type of daylily that I do not remember the name of, but I do remember it's red and yellow. Absolutely beautiful. A lovely bird bath. Underneath my bird bath, I have lemon ball sedum, and just full disclosure again, this one and this one, these were planted last fall. This one was a newly planted. I had one planted here, but it did not make it over the winter. I had Dusty Miller all in a line right here, and while it was very spectacular, I've just learned that lemon balsedum doesn't like to compete with anything else. It doesn't want anything smothering it at all. And because it's so low growing, it can easily be smothered by other plants. You got to give it space, y'all. It likes its space, but it likes that spot. And as long as nothing's going to compete with it, then I think it's going to be happy. And I love it underneath the bird bath. So those are little flowers too. There you go. Again, these are daffodil leaves. Right over here is balloon flower, and it's, I believe, Fuji Blue is the name. It's grown from seed a couple of years ago and comes back and overwinters for me. It is not going to bloom again till like June, most likely, but these beautiful blue blooms that will be like all over the place on this side. It's just going to be spectacular. And then I have another of the peach colored daylilies, the peach pink color. Again, that one is going to bloom tomorrow, I promise. But they are so beautiful. I absolutely love that daylily. And I have another rudbeckia right there getting ready to bloom. I have another Gomphrena globosa back here, and it is blooming. There's the first one. Hooray! There's the first Gomphrena bloom. And then I have another Gomphrena Fiery Sunrise right there, and another Queen Lime Zinnia. So just kind of waiting for those to kick in. The heat is just getting on. We've had a really kind of cool April and a rainy April, so everything's kind of just now getting going. But here is those Cosmos again, Cosmos apricota. I absolutely love this flower. My first time growing it. Again, the first one to flower for me. I think it looks beautiful with Dusty Miller under it, and then also the Sunshine Ligustrum in the background. So pulling up over here. So starting around here and going all the way to the end, we have a different kind of microclimate, and it's because I have a Vitex tree right there, and it's leafing out. It's creating buds. It probably won't bloom until mid-June. But what this does, it gets crazy and it covers kind of this whole area with shade. So right now, in the coolness of the springtime, this is full sun right here. But as the summertime progresses and as our heat progresses, this becomes more of a shade environment. And so a lot of these plants are plants that can do sun or shade, and that works really well. So what I've got going on is a begonia. Just your normal pink begonias. I love them so much. This one is a verbena that overwintered for me. It's not superbena. It is just like a purple one from Callaway's that was not labeled like anything specific. It overwintered. Y'all, this bee is following me everywhere. Is it the same one? I think it is. He's still munching on those zinnias. Okay, sorry, distracted. Okay, so I've got Dusty Miller behind that. I have a Dianthus right there. Looks so, so good. It was in full bloom last month, and now it's kind of coming out of that full bloom. I cut it back a little bit, like deadheaded it a lot because there was a lot of dead blooms in there. But I think it looks so pretty with a little bit of those May Night Salvia blooms, and then the Dusty Miller in the background, and then the Cosmos in the background. Oh, look at that. That's just glorious. And if you're wondering what this is that's popping up everywhere and kind of overtaking a lot of things over here, especially there's my lamb, my garden sheep. We call him Lambo. But this plant is variegated Vinca major, and it's an amazing ground cover. But just keep in mind, it will take over. And that is kind of what I wanted it to do back here. It grows in shade and part shade. I don't know that it could do full sun, to be honest, in our Texas heat. It probably could do full sun for all of you that are in the northern states and things. But here in Texas, I don't think it could. But it's kind of, you know, creeping up all over the place in these shady areas, and that was the point. And so it has come up in some areas over here that I have not wanted it to come up in, and it's rooted itself. I've just pulled it up. I actually have been potting it in a pot. I have a pot designated for these that have, you know, roots that I've pulled up because I don't want them there, and I'm growing them. And if people want them, they can have them, or if I want to pop them in a container because they're a great spiller plant for containers, then I'll pop it in a container. But that's what I'm doing, and it's working out pretty well, I think. So I've got Dusty Miller back there as well. And then planted right here are 2 Azuratum Leda plants, and they have not flowered yet. They are supposed to be like a pastel blue kind of color. But I have one in my backyard that started blooming yesterday, and it looks like it's white. So I'm a little bit disappointed. I got these seeds from Baker's Creek, heirloom seeds. I'm going to give that a chance. But if it's white, I don't think I'm going to keep it. I wanted something blue there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of white with the Dusty Miller. I don't need more white with the Azuratum, but we'll see how it goes. I need to give it a chance. Maybe it'll turn blue after a couple days. Who knows? Kind of like my hydrangeas. My hydrangeas did that when they first came out. They were looking white this year, and then it took a little while to develop that blue color. So I'm just going to keep my eye on that. There is a bud that should be blooming here pretty soon. And I think another one right there. But love that. I have another begonia there. More Dusty Miller under here. And then I have another type of ground cover here. And it is Burgundy Glow Ajuga. This is my favorite ground cover, y'all. And look at it with Dusty Miller. It's really, really beautiful. And it blooms these beautiful blue blooms in the springtime. It's out of bloom right now. I think I might have a couple over there to show you that aren't blue anymore, but you can see what the bloom, actually right there. That's what a bloom looks like, but this used to be all blue petals, which is so, so pretty. But great ground cover. It takes a while to get established and to start spreading. I will say that. But I love it. And then, of course, I've got variegated vinca coming over here. And then I have magma coral bells here that I got on clearance from Lowe's and popped it here. And it looks so good near the Burgundy Glow Ajuga, the variegated vinca, the Dusty Miller. Like, oh, it's getting ready to bloom again. So it bloomed once for me. And then it has another bloom stalk right here. How fun! I love that. And got lots of new growth. So it seems to be really happy there. So hopefully it will stay happy. And then I have all kinds of more Burgundy Glow Ajuga here. And it's filled in this area really beautifully. Now I have had to try and keep the variegated vinca out of it. I don't want the see, it rooted right there. And I'm going to take it out. Hold on. That's what variegated vinca does. It sends out these shoots. Look at that. And then it roots itself at the bottom of the shoot, and then this eventually becomes its own plant. So I don't want that to happen in the midst of the Burgundy Glow. I'm just gonna kind of tuck this in underneath the hydrangea, and there you go. I could separate that and put it in a pot because it is rooted, but I don't have time to do that right now. So anyway, now we've got the glorious, glorious hydrangea. I just absolutely love this hydrangea so much. It is an endless summer hydrangea, and it's been in the ground for probably about 6 years now, and it does really, really well here. Now, in the heat of the summer, this is completely in shade almost all day long. It gets filtered sun, and then it honestly gets a tiny bit of afternoon sun, just the tiniest bit as the sun is going down. It kind of peaks right here. And so some of those leaves will get burned. The rest of it will stay looking unbelievable all season long. And let me just show you these blooms. Wow. This one is pink. I have given it a little bit of soil acidifier, but when they're planted in the ground in Texas, it's just almost impossible to make them all blue. It would need quite a bit of soil acidifier, and it would need, like, I would guess, like an almost daily treatment of soil acidifier to do that. Sometimes I've gotten these to be half blue, half pink, but generally, like, this plant is going to stay pink, and I think that's okay. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I will show you another hydrangea that is blue, and it's because I have it planted in a container. Oh, look, This one is a little bit purple, a little bit blue, a little bit purple. Like I said, I did give it a little bit of soil acidifier, but I mean, when it's planted in the ground, it's just too little for it to really take it in, you know, to affect the acidity of the soil. But I have so many blooms on this plant. The other day I counted them, and I counted like 55 that I could count. And there's probably still more to come. It's just absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. And I'm here to tell you, you can grow hydrangeas in North Texas. I have a video about that if you're curious as to how I do it. I have a video all about how I take care of my hydrangeas. I'll pop the link in the upper right hand side of the screen, so click that link and you can watch that video. I think it's super helpful to be successful in growing hydrangeas here. All right, so this is this section of the front garden. I do have a little bit more over here to show you. I have this like little square planters that the builders love to build out here. And it's hard to, you know, figure out what to do there. But I have a topiary tree, and it is a Carolina sapphire cypress. And this is, it isn't even in here a year yet. We got it in the fall of 2024 last year. So it's doing well. I am noticing just a little bit of brown way down in there. I'm hoping that's okay. We got a lot of rain, and these guys are supposed to be extremely drought tolerant, but they're also supposed to be tolerant of a lot of water if they are grown in that condition too. So we'll just have to see how it does. But under there is kind of like, you know, an underplanting. And so I have variegated liriope right there. And then I have a little bit of my extra zinnias. So here is a, I don't even know, what is it, a pinwheel Zahara. That one's a Zahara zinnia. I have another ageratum there, and an ageratum there, and then another zinnia. And then back here, I have two different types of zinnias, and they are called Chippendale daisies. These were from Eden Brothers as well, and they just have a very different structure than any of the other zinnias I've ever grown. They're very bushy, and they have thinner leaves. And let me show you the other plant because it is in bloom. This one on this side. The flowers themselves are smaller, but look how beautiful that is. It almost reminds me of a coreopsis or a blanket flower in the color and the shape of the flowers, to be honest. And in kind of in the leaf structure too. So that's, yeah, it's so interesting. I've just kind of never seen a zinnia that was quite like this, but I do like it. It's really pretty. And then, to be honest, I have these growing wild, and it's spiderwort. And it's kind of like, it's always been in this front planter. I've never been able to get rid of it, but I'm embracing it this year because look, these blue blooms with these yellow and orange or red centers, like, I think it looks beautiful. I absolutely love it there. So I'm letting the Tradescantia kind of mix in with the variegated liriope there. And after it's done blooming, I'll probably take it all out. I never noticed this in there. The little seeds, probably. Interesting. They have little seed pods that I probably always pulled them before this part. So I've never noticed them before. That's kind of cool. And then coming over here, I have just a hedge of, I think they're baby gem boxwoods. And I'll be totally honest, I think we have a spider mite problem in these guys. I haven't seen spider mites. Honestly, I haven't seen the spider mites, but I definitely see the effects of the spider mites. And I've seen them on this plant before. So I'm almost certain that's what it is. I did spray them this morning with an insecticidal soap. Another method that I have used in the past is just blasting them with water. And that actually seems to be fairly effective. So hopefully these guys will do well in the season, and I'll be able to keep the spider mites at least at bay. We'll see. Oh, I want to mention that I do have a star jasmine vine that is planted here, and typically it dies back with our winters. It kills the vine completely to the root, but there were a few branches down here that did not die, and so those are the ones that are flowering for me, and so they're beautiful. If you stay tuned for my backyard garden tour, I was able to get quite a bit of my star jasmine to overwinter, and the vine was not destroyed, and so I have an entire section of my backyard that's in full bloom with star jasmine, and it smells amazing. I'm so happy about it. So anyway, stay tuned. My backyard garden tour will be coming in the next week or so, so you can be on the lookout for that. So although it is in a container, I consider this to be a huge part of my front garden because it is visible from the street, it is visible from the sidewalk, and it's just one of my statement pieces. And so you're going to get a sneak peek. This will also be in the container garden tour, but I also consider this to be a huge part of my front garden. And so I'm going to show y'all this amazing hydrangea. Earlier in this video, I promised that I had like a more blue color hydrangea on my porch, and that's here she is. This year, the blue color is, you know, a very good mixture of blue and purple for sure. I've given it a couple different doses of soil acidifier. The last recent one was a couple days ago, so I think that blue that you're seeing there is a result of the second soil acidifier application that I put, because I like this one to be a blue or a mixture like this is. Of blue and pink and purple. Wow, that's gorgeous. Okay, but this is one of my prized plants. I've had this hydrangea since 2000, Mother's Day this weekend of 2011. So 14 years I've had this hydrangea in this container in this location on my porch, and it has done amazing. And this is what I'm saying, like, you can grow these successfully in North Texas. You just have to know how to do it. So I encourage you guys to watch that video that I have for sure, because it's super helpful on how to grow hydrangeas in our hot climates. But wow, just spectacular. I have layers and layers of blooms all over the place on this guy, and just all of the colors too. Like, this is more pink purple. I love this so much. I just can't say enough how much I love this guy. But I think I've definitely counted 60 plus blooms on this one this year for sure. And I just got new ones created all over the place. It's just been a great couple of winters for hydrangea blooms here in North Texas, and I just absolutely love it. It truly is so special to me. Right next to it is my variegated Lacecap hydrangea, and I'm so excited, y'all, because I've had this plant for 5 years and it's never bloomed for me until this year. And so I've never had a Lacecap bloom. This is the one that's probably the most progressed, and this is what we're looking at here. It's white as it's coming out. It may stay white, I don't know, but all of these little ones are still yet to kind of come out, and they are pink. And so it's just, wow, so stunning with those variegated leaves. That I've said this, you know, all of these years I've said, I don't care if it never blooms for me, I'll still keep this plant because of the leaves. They're so remarkable in their coloration. But when you match them with these beautiful dainty Lacecap blooms, I don't know how that could get any better, really, in a plant. It's just, I'm so happy. There are buds everywhere that are still to kind of come out. So my June garden tour probably will be pretty spectacular. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I have put soil acidifier on this. I'm pretty sure that this is, the blooms are dependent on the acidity of the soil in terms of what color they are, but I have hit it with soil acidifier a couple of times and it's not changing a thing. It's gonna be pink. I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna do a little more research and let y'all know, because I would love to see these be blue Lacecaps, but I don't know that that's attainable. It might just be the type of hydrangea that it is. So anyway, I had to show this to y'all. They'll be in the container garden tour as well. That'll come out in the next week or so, but had to show this to you as part of my front garden tour as well. I've got to show y'all. So our grass is coming in. It's actually doing fantastic. My husband is the one that takes care of our grass. He is amazing with it, and it is Palisades zoysia. It does really, really well here in North Texas, and I think our grass is just looking really, really, really nice. But I know these are containers, but I also consider them part of the front garden. So I'm going to show them to you anyway. And the bees are already buzzing all over the place. This is Mystic Spire's blue salvia, and I was able to overwinter it. I'm so happy about that. But one thing that happened, this whole section of the plant, it was there. And then we had so many storms, and the storms are causing these guys on the outside to flop over. So anyway, I'm having that problem. Like even this one, it's all flopped over. I'm going to see if it roots back in and saves this stem. But I've lost a lot of stems on this plant because the storms have knocked them over. I think it's because it's overwintered. These connections between the wood, like this is the wood that the plant formed last year, and the new stem coming out, that connection is very weak. And I'm finding that storms knock them over very easily in this like second year of Mystic Spires. So it looks lopsided, but eventually this Mystic Spires, I know it to be very, very vigorous. And so before you know it, I think it's going to fill that in. If it doesn't, maybe I'll just have a lopsided planter. I don't know. And if it doesn't, like I knows to do, I'm going to pull it all out. If it doesn't like completely even out in towards the end of the season, I'm just going to consider Mystic Spires blue salvia an annual, for the reason that it's not as strong when it comes back the second time, and then just get a new one. I found them for $6.97 at HEB, the Texas Backyard Garden, or Texas Backyard, I guess is what it's called, at HEB. They're $6.97 each, so I could still easily just take that out and pop in a $7 Mystic Spires and start from scratch. But I guess I'm trying to just experiment to see what it's going to do and if I can overwinter it. But look, it's even got shoots that are budding all over the place. So it's about to take off. And it's also, my pansies are still in here. I can't believe that they're still beautiful. Look at that. We'll see what next week does, because we've had some cooler weather. So I'm not surprised that they do look the way that they do. But next week's weather is supposed to warm up quite a bit, and we'll see how these pansies do. So the other container is very similar with one exception. Again, I've got that Mystic Spires, and this one actually did not come back in the whole container. Like it's just this one area that regrew with the growth. But it's, like I said, I really do think it will fill in, especially when these guys kind of die off. But we've got those pansies still going strong. I like that color combination of the dark purple. Well, this is kind of like a dark maroon and then that bright blue purple. It's really pretty. But one thing that is in this container is the Superbena Sparkling Amethyst. I had an extra one of these last year, and so I had an empty space in this container and just plopped it here. I regret it because I wish I would have had two. I wish I would have done the same thing to the other container, but I didn't. And then I didn't realize they were going to overwinter for me and do so well and perform so well. So now I want another one to put over there, but I can't find them. So that's my story. And anyway, they just are so spectacular. They're kind of, the bee. They are filling in all of the different areas. Like they're popping in through the pansies over there and everything. So it's coming out of like its big glorious bloom, but it's still continuing to rebloom too. So I just love that plant. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So there you go, everyone. I thank you so much for joining me on my front garden tour for May 2025. I hope that all of you have a wonderful weekend. This weekend is Mother's Day weekend. It might be Mother's Day when I get this uploaded for y'all. So happy Mother's Day. Thank you for joining me. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me so much. And also like and comment. Tell me what you're growing in your front garden this year, what you're looking forward to. And I just thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye-bye, everybody.